Hello students, I hope you all are in good health. Today in this class, we are going to read a poem and the name of the poem is Chivvy, Chivvy, Chivvy. And do you know who wrote this poem? The poet of this poem is Michael Rosen. Now, before we start, let me tell you, Michael Rosen, the poet of this poem, is an English children poet, and he wrote around 140 books. He is also a novelist. One who writes novel is called novelist. Okay? Now, before we start the poem, we should know the meaning of the title, right? So the meaning of Chivvy is to nag, N-A-G, to nag. Do you know what is nag? Nag means harassment. Okay? Now, this particular poem by Michael Rosen deals with the feelings of the poet, means himself, and other kids who feels irritated by their elders. Why? Because the elders usually instruct their children, no, like don't do this, don't do that, do this way, not this way. And what happened? Children feels irritated. Right or not? But remember, those suggestions are only for your good. Right? So we should follow them. Now, every poem has a rhyming scheme and also poetic devices. But this particular poem, Chivvy, has no rhyming scheme or poetic device. It is free verse. Okay? Now let's recite the poem first. Grown ups say things like speak up, do not talk with your mouth full, do not stare, do not point, do not pick your nose. Sit up, say please, less noise, shut the door behind you, do not drag your feet. Have not you got a hanky? Take your hands out of your pockets. Pull your socks up, stand up straight, say thank you, do not interrupt. No one thinks you are funny. Take your elbows off the table. Can't you make your own mind up about anything? Okay. So there is two interrogative sentences in the poem. One in the second stanza, have not you got a hanky? And in the third stanza, the last line, can't you make your own mind up about anything? Right? Okay. Now, coming to the explanation part, grown ups say things like speak up, do not talk with your mouth full, do not stare, do not point, do not pick your nose. So, grown ups means elders say things like speak loudly, do not speak softly. Right? Okay. And then elders also instruct you not to talk by keeping your things. Things means food in your mouth. Else, what will happen? It will fall down, or you will spit to the person near you, which is a very bad habit, right? Then, do not stare, do not point, do not pick your nose. Means, do not look at something continuously. That is, do not stare. Or do not point your finger at someone, because the other person may feel targeted, they may feel irritated or inferior, right? And last line, do not pick your nose. Some children have this bad habit. I do not think my children have this habit, but some children used to put their fingers in the nose, right? Which is a very bad habit. Okay, so we should not do that. Our elders instruct us not to do that. Now, coming to the second stanza of the poem, sit up, say please, less noise, shut the door behind you, do not drag your feet, have not you got a hanky? Take your hands out of your pockets. So, our elders also instruct us to sit straight or to sit properly. Then, say please means if someone asks you something, then you should immediately respond. Yes, you should answer them. Next line, less noise. Shut the door behind you means do not shout unnecessarily. And we should always shut the door when we go out of the room or the class or come in the room or the class. Okay, we should always shut the door and silently. Then, do not drag your feet means some children have the habit, no, they used to drag their feet. So we should never drag our feet. We should walk properly in proper manner. Have not you got a hanky? Take your hands out of your pockets. So here he means we should always carry a handkerchief with us. Why? Why we need a hanky? Because sometimes we sneeze. Okay? So we should always carry our hanky. Also to rub our hands before eating or after eating. We should carry our own hanky. Then, coming to the third stanza, pull your socks up, stand up straight. So, okay, sorry. Take your hands out of your pockets means here the poet says we should not keep our hands in our pockets because it does not look nice before our elders, right? So now coming to the third stanza, pull your socks up, stand up straight means we should always pull our socks up. Why? To look smart, to look clean. Yes? Then we should also stand properly and not in an inappropriate manner. We should stand straight, not clumsily. Okay? Then say thank you. Do not interrupt. So every time someone gives you something or helps you, then you should always acknowledge that person by saying what? By saying thank you. And we should never interrupt or interfere anyone when they are doing something. Maybe they are writing something, they are discussing something, they are reading something. So we should not interrupt without their permission. Okay? Then, no one thinks you are funny. Take your elbows off the table. So here it means we should not insult others to attract another people. Another person, I mean. Because at that time the other person do not think you are funny. Rather it irritates the other person and he feels angry. Then next line, take your elbows off the tables means we should never keep our elbows in the table and talk in front of our elders. Because in that manner you look very lame, very lazy, right? You should sit properly, okay, by keeping your hands in your thighs. Then, can't you make your own mind up about anything? So in the last line it means you should be very firm to your decision or whatever you say. You should not change your decision time to time. Now, before 1 second, you decided something, immediately after hearing someone, you change your idea. So, you should not do that. You should be very firm, very straight about what you think, what you feel. Okay? So, that's the poem. Okay. So, here is also a incident given by the poet about him. Okay, so let's read it. So when Michael was 5 years old, 1 minute. When Michael was 5 years old, his mother took him to a nearby school for admission. The teacher asked, "What does your mother call you at home, child?" "Michael, don't," came the reply confidently. Right? Because when Michael was a child, his mother also instructed him, like, don't do this, don't do that, do this way, that's not proper. No, same like your parents. So one day, when his mother took him to take admission to a nearby school, when the teacher asked him what's his nickname, then he confidently reply, "Michael, don't," because every time his mother used to say, like, "Michael, do not do this, do not do that." So he replied his name like Michael, don't. Right? But children, sometimes you may feel irritated, but always remember that those lessons are only for your good, to make your future better, right? So, okay, so today we will stop here and we'll meet in the next class. Thank you.